Oh boy, here we go. The ZvTs do continue here. We were able to see a little bit of it at the beginning of the night against Piglet with Mech. Here, though, I think it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's right. And here we are. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is the Australian Terran himself. Spawning in the blue, it is Azure.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the red Zerg player himself, hailing from the land of, or representing New Zealand. It is RiSky. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like...
It's all good, it's all good. I do see the chat catching up with the quote-unquote beautiful overlays. Yes, we don't quite have an overlay for 3 people because we never we have been doing interviews recently, but it's always impromptu. It's never like planned. Maybe we should set up an overlay for that. Yeah, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, here we go. Spawning into this one, we do have very standard build coming out from RiSky. Meanwhile, we do have the CC first coming out from Azure. And my cat has just kicked over my bin, so I'm going to sort that out.
It's all good, puppy, all good. Asher's just gonna try and retake control of his apartment right now. It's okay. Oh god. But yeah. Also, again, massive shout out to Ryan for jumping on there. You know, he could have refused if he wanted to. Again, by no means did we enforce it. But yeah, it was really nice for him to jump on a little bit for a chat to get a little bit of insight to his games and his feelings going into all of this. Feels good, man. Feels good. And we'll see how this series continues. As Azure was alluding to, mate, CC first is wild. Behind that, of course, we do actually have a second Rax as well. Wow. So this is one of the things that I love about Craig. This is one of the things that I love about Azure. I talk about it a lot with Yaku. He's a bit of a jack of all trades. Like, he's got so much available to him. I don't know if I agree with what I said earlier about how, like, hey, we may not, like, you know, Piglet series is a little bit different. Like, Azure, he's willing to go mech. He's willing to go bio. He has so many builds, and he can be a very unpredictable player.
Yeah, that's right. And we do see him with this 2-1-1. This is a build that's been gaining quite a bit of popularity. I've been seeing it a lot in the GSL with a lot of the Korean players, the Korean Terrans going for this sort of greedy 2-1-1 as a mix-up, and it can lead into a very strong 2-base timing.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't know how active RiSky has been, especially when it comes to watching GSL. We do see that, again, because we didn't have a Reaper, the first link is going to be coming across the map for a little bit of scout, confirming at least the one Marine, but shouldn't be seeing too much more than that. Oh, he does get forced back.
Yeah, that's right. That is going to be forced back. So this Overlord is going to want to duck in here to get a little bit of extra scouting here. He's going to time the Ling at the same time as well. So he should be able to get a pretty good idea of what's going on. But he's just going to duck out with that Ling, seeing the second Marine there. So just keeping himself safe for the moment, but not getting any scouting off just yet. And I want to point out as well, this is a bit of an older build that Dream used to do. So Dream being a bit of a hero of Azure's, I think that's part of the reason why he likes his build so much.
There you go. I mean, the Overlord did actually see the reactor on that rack, so that is a little bit of a tell that this should be leading in towards a bit of a 2-on-1 or a 3 racks, to be fair. So RiSky just trying to get whatever information he can, really unwilling to dive in with this Overlord and throw it away.
Yeah, that's right. And meanwhile, we do see that he is just droning along, so he will be looking to get up to a pretty healthy drone count, maybe around 50 drones before he starts making his army to deal with this drop, just doing as much as he can get away with and just pumping out queens as well. So that will help with the defense here, but the economy of Azure is boosted by the CC first, so there's not too much pressure to get damage with the 2-on-1.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's how this variant kind of plays out. Pressure won't be there, as we are going to be seeing that add-on switch here. We're going to be seeing the first Medivacs on the way to zoom out across the map. And RiSky, we'll see when he stops droning. In a couple of moments, we should be seeing a wave of links. He's even getting a safety Bailey nest just in case behind that mineral line.
Yeah, that's right. Just being extra careful here. Starting up those extra queens as well. And this Ling will see the Marine move out. So this Marine's moving out nice and early to meet up with Medivacs. And he is going to cancel and go straight into a Roach Warren. Interesting choice here. I think he is anticipating a 2-base all-in coming out from this. So if that is the case, this will keep him safe. But it's actually a 3rd CC behind this.
Yeah, we do have that 3rd CC there as a part of the wall on the natural, so RiSky maybe not anticipating the build quite, or he doesn't quite know the entire facet of said build, as the Marines are going to be able to push on forward. No, a little bit of a beyond build, as the Marines did push out without the Medivacs, but oh, that is a little bit risky. Doesn't want to get surrounded.
Yeah, but he does manage to respread that creep and push back these Marines. They will have to wait for the support of the Medivacs before they commit too much. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this Medivac actually going to ferry a few more Marines out here, so he does have a lot of Marines here to start putting pressure on these Queens in the creep, but looks like the Queens have backed off, so a bit of a wasted stim there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Queens did back off in the end. Azure just rotating back over, getting a couple of Lings for free here. Oh, actually, more than really what should have happened. Jesus.
Yeah, and that does change the math on this quite a bit. I do think RiSky might have to start thinking about firing up some extra units to be able to deal with the force of Azure, and Azure, for his part, he's going to jump straight on top of these Queens and start to snipe some down. A higher energy Queen going down straight away.
Yeah, very nice trades here again in this choke point. The Lings are going to be coming on in once again. Azure turns around to shave off whatever he can. Roaches are coming out. They will reveal themselves here to Azure.
Yeah, the Roaches are being revealed. I have to wonder if this choice is partly because of the ping as well, for RiSky to go for these Roaches. But meanwhile, Azure loading up that Medivac once again is going to continue to put on pressure, and all these Lings going down straight away. He's going to take the fight against these Roaches, and actually pretty good trades coming out here.
Yeah, and you know what? Here come the reinforcements. A couple more Marines, a tank as well. Finally, these rocks will be cleaned up, so RiSky will have an easier time defending in this location, but Azure is putting on that pressure. And he's even actually overtaking RiSky in that worker count.
Yeah, that's right. He is forcing so many units out of RiSky. RiSky just has to keep pumping the units out of fear that this might be a 2-base all-in, or that the things might start to snowball a little bit too much. And meanwhile, Azure able to land his 3rd while he moves out with this push.
Yeah, exactly. Even lifts up one of those tanks as well to bring with his army. Right now, there's not really too much pressure here to him. We do have a scan just to make sure, okay, the 3rd base is being saturated. Also confirms that it isn't actually fully saturated, not yet.
Yeah, that's right, and he will be just happy to bunker up for the moment. Wouldn't mind seeing him go for a drop as well at some stage, just to abuse the lack of anti-air, but for now, just looks like he's going to be securing his base, and there he goes with the drop.
Yeah, double drop here towards the left-hand side of the map. We even have a couple of Liberators coming out as well for Azure. So, yeah, going to be taking a little bit of a page out of Vindicta as when it comes to multi-prong harassment here. We'll see if RiSky can keep up, especially with that ping difference.
Yeah, that's right. There is, of course, that ping difference there. There's also a bit of a lack of spores. Does look like he is aware of this push coming out here to the left, but for Azure, all he really needs to do is just keep RiSky busy, keep him stressed out, start to push back this creep as well, and set up some multitasking situations for these Livs to get damage.
Yeah, exactly. Liv headed towards the main base, and the Liv headed towards the natural as well. We see a stim on forward, and 1-2 Queens get picked up.
Yeah, try 2 Queens going down, as well as the 2 active tumors for only 2 of those Marines. The Queen is going to respread that tumor right away, but he is just keeping RiSky busy as these Liberators come in and start to get some damage here. They are denying mining at the 3rd already.
Yeah, 3 drones are going to be going down. Another Liberator coming in towards that natural base as well. RiSky, does he have eyes on it? It looks like he does, but no response quite yet. There we go. The Queens are headed in that direction.
Yeah, his Ravagers are out of position, so this Liberator will be able to deny some more mining time. Isn't able to take out one of these drones. Nice little reposition on that Queen. Good attention by RiSky there, but it does mean that he will have to deal with these before he can get any pressure of his own, even losing a Queen there.
Oh my god, the high energy Queen as well. Unfortunately, wasn't able to transfuse itself, and it will go down. So far, some really nice damage at the same time. Ooh, we saw a couple of biles, but Azure was able to spot that in time, was able to avoid those biles with those medevacs, and here we go. He's working on his next push. Does have a 4th behind this.
Yeah, working on this push. His upgrades have been a little bit delayed by his opener, so it is just 1-1 finishing up for the moment. But with that +2 attack on the way, he does also have his vehicle upgrades on the way as well. So just going along with those upgrades quite nicely, and we'll be able to put some pressure on here.
Yeah, exactly. Going to be able to pick up a couple of drones, a couple of links as well, just keeping the attention of RiSky here on the left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the main army is going to force its way through these rocks. In total, we do have, 6 tanks with this army. Jesus Christ. Are we going to have enough biles? Actually, bailing speed nowhere near being done.
Yeah, that's right. Coming in at a nice time here. There's not much splash here for RiSky, so Azure will be able to just slowly push forward with these tanks, clear out some of the creep as well. Throws down a scan just to see exactly what he's dealing with. This is a pretty nice defensive force for RiSky, so Azure will need to take his time with this, but at the same time he is taking into his 2-2. He's getting 2 tanks at a time. He's got his 8 racks on the way, even pulling this Liberator over for some extra support.
Yeah, Liberators do come in, but they get biled down immediately. It's not the best uses of them, but at the same time we do see RiSky cut off from this base, already barely staying alive.
Yeah, it does manage to keep that base. It does look like Azure going to be losing a little bit on this left side as well, so a little bit of some slightly poor trades there, but he is continuing to put on the pressure through the center of the map.
Yeah, Azure spreading himself a little bit thin there, but again, he still has that pressure. Bailing speed does finish up, by the way, so RiSky's gonna have a higher chance of actually winning an engagement on this creep, as Azure is pushing on forward and baiting him in.
Yeah, that's right. He has baited him out as that bailing speed finishes, but these tank shots will be good. The spread is good off creep, but a lot of these Marines going down. I do think RiSky is going to be able to overwhelm this tank line. The medevac's going to get out of there, and this is looking pretty dicey for Azure suddenly.
Yeah, exactly. The bailing's coming in from the left-hand side. Got some beautiful connections on those Marines. Azure really wasn't expecting that. Likewise, again, bailing's find even more connections here, and RiSky, he's breaking through into the third, into the natural, into everything.
Yeah, it takes down all of these tanks, biles down these Liberators as well, and suddenly we see a pretty heavy reset on the tech units of Azure. Nice little dodge there with the Liberator of those biles. We'll be able to keep that alive and protect his ramp here, but RiSky's going to rotate around to attack the 4th.
Yeah, exactly. The 4th left completely undefended. It is a planetary doing it us wrong, and it will be able to buy a little bit more time. Azure is on the way, but, oh god, again, a little bit out of position. The 4th will fall.
Yeah, 4th going down. A lot of banelings going down for RiSky as well, so it won't come without a cost. But at the same time, Azure does have to put some damage back on RiSky now if he wants to stay in this game.
Exactly. To be fair, there aren't that many banelings remaining, as you were saying, because of that planetary. So Azure is going to be able to force this back for the time being, and his worker count isn't looking too bad here. Again, RiSky's supply is a little bit inflated because of that Roach Ravager.
Yeah, that's right. Azure just getting as much damage as he can, taking out a lot of those high-value Banes, trying to take down some Ravagers as well. He's going to rotate over to this Fist, and this Fist is quite wounded, so if he did want to dive on top of this, he might be able to get the snipe here.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if he can pull it off. He is going to be able to get the snipe on that fort.
Yeah, nice pickups, gets all of those units out of there after sniping that base. We'll get those medevacs out of there as well, and now it is his turn to defend.
Yeah, exactly. Azure's done a great job at recovering here. Scans top left confirming that there is no hatchery, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself, containing his opponent to only 4 bases. RiSky is coming back in. The planetary is not done.
Yeah, nice job there, pulling back the Marines. He's going to be able to soak up a lot of the Banelings there with the Marauders. The tank shots taking out a lot of them as well, so that is a lot of the army value of RiSky going down there. Nice trades by both players. Very nice snipes there on the Banelings. And he's going to jump right on top of these Ravagers. Good micro there, dodging the biles.
Yeah, exactly. The biles were definitely cute, but Azure was wise to them. He was able to dodge the majority of them, and as a result, RiSky has been losing far too many of these Ravagers. Is looking to actually rebuild them, though.
Yeah, he's going to be rebuilding these Roaches. Meanwhile, he does have his Chitinous plating on the way, so he does have the possibility to switch into Ultras once he feels a bit more comfortable, but just trying to keep himself safe with the Roaches for now, and the supplies are even once again.
Yeah, exactly. They are now even. I imagine RiSky is waiting to get a little bit more of a better economy before he can transition into Ultras. They can be quite expensive. We do finally have Vipers coming out here for RiSky as well, so that will help when it comes to engaging into these tank lines.
Yeah, that's right, and this 4th is coming up now. It is morphing into a planetary, and there is a drop heading to the top left-hand corner. It does look like RiSky's a little bit out of position here to defend this drop. So if Azure can jump straight on top of this base, he will be able to get the cancel, but meanwhile, the bottom right base is up and mining. Yeah,
exactly. As you were pointing out, the entire army of RiSky was in the bottom right. There is that cancel that we were talking about. Even a couple of drones, even some creep trimmers being taken down.
Yeah, nice little bit of damage here from Azure for quite a small commitment. Is going to attack on the other side as well, but fortunately for RiSky, his army is in position here.
Yeah, it is in position this time, and it looks like he's going to be able to force this drop all the way back. There's a decent amount of Marauders here, but the Ling Bane is terrifying, and it looks like Azure is forced all the way back to his own fort.
Yeah, the Lings are almost fully upgraded now, putting a lot of damage out on this bio, and that does force Azure back, but he will be able to fall back to the support of those tanks.
That he will, but RiSky is now still stuck on his 5 bases. I mean, to be fair, he now has that 5th up and running, working on that energy, working on those Vipers. The first wave of Ultras are now coming out. They do have that kind of plating. We're still lacking Ultra speed, but I'm sure we're going to get that soon as RiSky has the opportunity to get them.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, this drop at the top left-hand corner of the map still being really annoying, delaying this base. And it does look like the Ghost Academy is on the way for Azure, so he will be ready to deal with these Ultras aggressively if he does choose to push forward like that. And he will be able to deal with the Vipers as well.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to free up a little bit of supply to do so. The Ghost Academy is done, but Azure is now maxed out here alongside RiSky. 200 supply. The Vipers and Ultras have been spotted.
Yeah, and this is a serious push here that is assembling for Azure. He still has the pressure to the top left, so RiSky is going to be having to commit some supply there, but instead he is just going to pull everything away here, and it does look like the drop of Azure is headed back home, so there is a big surround coming here.
Yeah, exactly. The entire army of RiSky converges on the bottom right. We have the Blinding Clouds, we have the Erupts, the Ling Bane rolls on forward, and there is not enough buffer here. It looks like there barely is enough to get on top of these tanks.
Yeah, all those Banelings are going to go down. The tanks are going to be taken out though. So pretty even trades all in all, but the Ultras survive and RiSky is making 4 more and remaxing on Lynx. He smells blood. He wants to attack now.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Azure, he just needs a little bit more time to get into his army. This time his army will have those ghosts. He will have snipes available as well for those EMPs to deny those Vipers. Oh god, but he does need more time.
Yeah, meanwhile, we just have this little skirmish up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Azure chasing after these Banelings, trying to get as much value as he can out of these Marines before they go down. Maybe even wanting to trade out some of these Marines so that he can increase the quality of his army as the first few ghosts start to come out now.
Yeah, they are on the way. Meanwhile, Azure even looking to try and expand and take another base. I mean, that's the thing. RiSky, his creep isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but he's been having a really hard time encroaching past that halfway mark. So because of that, it does feel relatively safe here for Azure to expand on the right-hand side. He still has the Rooks to support him. He still has that high ground.
Yeah, that's right. He's got this high ground set up, and that will help him in taking this 5th base here. But the ultra count of RiSky is starting to look pretty scary. It's very important here for Azure that he puts as much pressure as he can on so that those ultras are not stopping him from getting the 5th up.
God, exactly. We'll see if he can do so. At the same time, the double drop towards the left-hand side does get denied by RiSky. He has split up his army quite well. I say split up his army. His entire army is actually here, as we do see a scan, and mate, that is a lot of ultras.
Yeah, good scan there, picking out all the ultras. He will be starting up extra tanks and those ghosts. The ghosts will be looking to take out these Vipers if they can. We do have a few snipes going down on the ultras. The first few ultras going to get shredded immediately.
Yeah, exactly. They do go down to those snipes and ghosts safely behind that army. The Viper looking a little bit exposed, and again, there just wasn't enough support for these ultras.
Yeah, a bit of an ill-advised angle there for RiSky. Does run into the entire army on the broad face and loses so much of his army. There were very nice trades there for Azure. He does just need to heal up his army a little bit before he gets too aggressive here, but he doesn't want to let RiSky have any room to breathe. Yeah,
exactly. Here we go. The army from the left-hand side is coming on over as well. The Bailey's going to be running into tanks, which is not going to be ideal, but the ghosts go down.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension here from Azure, but he still has enough to take the fight, and he will be taking down the army of RiSky here. These Liberators being so annoying that Spore will be running forward to try to take them out, but this Parasitic Bomb is not going to be enough to take them down.
Yeah, exactly. The Power Bomb is not enough. The base will fall. Reinforcements for RiSky are going to be coming in, and we'll be able to clean this up, but oh my god, another Ultra goes down.
Yeah, that Liberator taking down that Ultra. These Liberators being such a pain. We do have the Ghosts coming in. Nice scan there just to make sure he maintains that snipe vision. And he will be moving forward with these tanks. Looks like he's accidentally made a round of Reapers as well.
That's a significant amount of Reapers. That is 9 Reapers. Ay, ay, ay. But you know, KDA charges, they can help, Bappy. They can help.
Yeah, the Reaper's actually going to be jumping on top of those Queens and almost taking one down. I want to see if he's going to be making use of those grenades as well, but he will just be stuttering back with those Reapers, taking out a few of those Ultras as well. So just a little bit of a skirmish here, but I've got to be careful not to overextend and overcommit to this position.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to think that Azure knows that he is looking a little bit ahead here, and he wants to flex on his opponent with a couple of Reapers, Copium, as he does drag back into the Liberators. And oh my god, 2, 3 more Ultras go down.
Yeah, these Liberation Zones absolutely shredding through those Ultras, shredding through some of these Ravages as well. The Biles are good, but trading out 3 Ultras for the 2 for the two Liberators is not a trade you want to be taking.
It really is not, but you know what? RiSky is now going to be able to push out across time. Oh, he runs into the reinforcements though. RiSky himself getting a little bit surrounded.
Yeah, this game is non-stop action here. Both players trading out so much of their army. It will look like a few of these ghosts are going to be going down to the ultras now, and it'll be important for Craig to get these ghosts back up to take down these ultras.
Exactly. Meanwhile, RiSky has established a 5th base towards the top left-hand corner of the map. He finally gets that up and running, and has actually been spreading creep aggressively here. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for Azure to really deny that at all. His attention has been focused on the bottom right.
Yeah, that's right. After denying that base, it looks like RiSky has been able to re-establish mining, even going for that right base again. And with these ultras, it's going to be pretty hard for Azure to push into him before he can get that ghost count back up. Meanwhile, on the side of Azure, he has that bottom right base up and mining, but he needs to start to think about what his next move is going to be in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like that next move is to lift up his main and go for another base, but that is where he runs into a wall of creep. He's going to be able to clean up a lot of it and try and establish another base, but he also has to be careful a little bit when it comes to spreading himself too thin. Thankfully, very little creep here on the right-hand side. He doesn't really have anything to worry about concerning his fresh base.
Yeah, that's right. We do have an army over here for RiSky. All these Ultras, Lings, Ravagers, a few Banelings as well. Not too many here. So if Azure can set up this defensive position and RiSky does choose to attack again, he could have the opportunity for another nice trade here. But unfortunately, his base is blocked at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to be needing a scan. There we go. The Ling will be clear. The Ling will be cleaned up in the end. But at the same time, a little bit of a misrally. 2 tanks go down.
Yeah, 2 tanks being taken down. This creep by RiSky stretched all the way out almost to that 3rd base. And so he is able to make moves like that much more easily. Pretty scary situation here for Azure as he tries to get that extra base up, and RiSky just runs back and forth, now threatening this 5th base.
Yeah, he rotates on over, and Azure doesn't have a sensor tower here. He has no idea that this base is under threat until now, until RiSky reveals his hand, and this planetary every worker here, they're gone, mate.
Yeah, crucial move here, taking down 28 workers at this oversaturated base. It's taking out some libs and tanks as well. That does give Azure the signal that he needs to get counter damage himself. He's going to run up to the north here, take out this base, but meanwhile, the base of RiSky in the bottom right-hand corner is still mining, and he manages to save all of those drones.
Yeah, the drones will evacuate towards the bottom right. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Lings, they catch the ghosts! Oh!
Yeah, the ghosts are going to win this fight. Chappie, where are you at?
Hey, Ghost, they win it against even Lings, Papi, even Lings. It's crazy. It's crazy. What can the Zerg do?
Crazy. The auto attack on the Ghost is unbelievable.
Oh my god. It did cost Azure 3 ghosts, though. They did go down in the end. Meanwhile, RiSky aggressively expanding, even taking one of Azure's bases.
Yeah, that's right. We do have that base coming up in the bottom right-hand corner, and that will be a key base. If RiSky can get that up and mining, start to mine that out a little bit, that could be what it takes to get him the win here. But these ghosts are going to get on top of these ultras, immediately sniping down at one, going for the second one here, and they are going to be able to take that one down too as his PF, defensive PF, goes down. And the next PF is in danger as well.
Oh my god, but it barely somehow survives the Ravager Biles as well. A couple of snipes are going off, killing the retreating Ultras, and Azure is going to be able to take a little bit of a supply lead here, but he's unaware of the bases being taken by RiSky, both the right and the center right.
Yeah, very good trades there for Azure, though, just recognizing that RiSky was overextending. RiSky as well, picking up on that, doesn't overcommit to take down the base, does get out of there with as many Ultras as he can. But at the same time, Azure is going to be able to start to push back this creep on the top left-hand side. It does throw down a scan as well. He's going to be able to see those transferring drones. That is a key scan now.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't notice that, as it looks like he's just going to make sure and ensure that there is nothing here towards the top left. At the same time, that planetary fortress is finally going to go down to the Ling Bane Ravager here of RiSky, and this may force a counterattack. Azure has had a pretty impressive army for a long time, but he just hasn't really been able to make use of it.
Yeah, the defense and vision is stretched thin here, so it is a little bit hard. I have to say, this is a tough situation here. It's very hard to know what to do next as Azure. I do think he'll be trying to reestablish that base. Does look like he got a drop going in the bottom right-hand corner, so he is aware of what is going on here. As we actually have 40 drones all stacked up here.
Jesus Christ. We had a little bit of a mosh pit, a little bit of a drone rave going on there in the bottom right-hand corner. Meanwhile, we have that drop. Going to be at least getting eyes on things, at least distracting RiSky a little bit, as he is once again taking control of the right-hand side of the map. Azure losing even more bases.
Yeah, that's right. The pressure is on. He does have a really nice army here, though. So I do think as Azure, you are going to be wanting to try to force a fight here. And attacking into this bottom right-hand corner base could be a way to achieve that goal.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like he has to go sooner rather than later because infestors are on the horizon. Fungals are going to come into play soon. They don't RiSky doesn't have them yet, so he doesn't have to worry about that for the time being, but once they do come in, that will complicate things for sure.
Yeah, some nice trades here for Azure. He's going to take out some of these queens as well, and he will be able to push down into the bottom right-hand corner base. These drones are going to get absolutely massacred.
Oh my god, so many drones, 40 drones. It looks like a couple, 10 of them will manage to escape, but at the same time, RiSky is going for a massive counterattack here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's going to run in with those things to the left-hand side. That is a lot of SCVs going down. They will mineral walk out, so only 15 of those going down, but that is 15 and counting as these lings get distracted by these marauders. There is things happening all over the map here. It's going down, and the ghosts managed to clean up those lings once again.
Yeah, thankfully, to defend against the ling round, we did have those ghosts. They are the ideal unit. As we did have the bottom right-hand base going down as well. Oh my god, Azure finally dealing some economic damage here to RiSky. Look at that drone count for both players, actually.
Yeah, but at the same time, throwing down that scan there by Azure is going to realize that he has some much bigger, much better army here. And I think this is his time to pull the trigger. I think it's time for him to start pushing across the map, especially with the lower Bane count. This could be his moment as we see those infestors popping as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's still going to be all about those fungals. Despite having a lower army supply, there is still potential here for RiSky as he does catch a decent amount of this fire. Ooh.
Yeah, but does sort of bait himself into a fight there. Nice snipes there, taking down one more of these ultras. We do see a few more infestors coming out, but it is a very low eco situation we find ourselves in, with Azure having the slight supply lead.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to all come down to those spellcasters. Whether it's the infestors, whether it's the vipers, whether it's the EMPs on these ghosts as well. The infestors are actually coming on in. Oh my god, sneaking upon the army.
Well, the infestor is here, and those ghosts are bunched up. I don't believe he has neural, but he does have the potential to throw down a pretty nasty fungal on those.
He really does. The infestors have revealed themselves. One of them is going to get sniped. Oh my god. Meanwhile, the engagement's actually looking really great for Azure.
Yeah, brilliant engagement there for Azure, taking down so many of those ultras, and that will spell the end. Azure has taken a brutal game at 1.
GG, well played. I was waiting for the flanking fungal, Papi. I was waiting for it. In the end, we saw no fungals. Azure was able to take that fight in the end, weathering the storm, weathering a brutal game, and coming out on top.
Yeah, that was indeed a very brutal, very tough game to win out. It was a grueling game, but he manages to get the win in the end. Ooh, and that's just the first game of this series.
That was just game number 1. Where will we go from here? How intense are we going to get? Are we ever going to be able to cast DreamHack China? Oh, God. There's just so much StarCraft, Papi. There's so much.
It never stops. It never stops.
It never stops. But that was honestly a really impressive game. Not gonna lie, there were definitely a lot of moments, especially in the mid game, where it felt like Azure was on the back foot, even towards the end there, where he was falling apart a little bit, where he was lacking some sensor towers. So because of that, he was missing some rotations. But at the same time, he was also, because he was missing them, just going for his own counterattacks instead. It was crazy.
Yeah, managed to keep enough going on there. Very scrappy back and forth game, but gets the win in the end due to some very nice key fights, very good ghost usage as well. So, here we go into game number 2.
Here we go. The lobby has been made. We are all getting on in, and game number 2 is going to be on Tropical Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, a bit of a bigger map here, so we'll have to see what Azure has in store to deal with some of the features of this map. I don't think he'll be wanting this one to go to such a late game like that.
Yeah, I doubt he would as well. Are you feeling some cheese, Papi? Are you feeling some proxies? What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Yeah, proxy racks has been something that's been favored a lot on this map. I don't know if that's something that Azure practices so much. It is possible he might go for a 2 racks. I know he does like that build, but I think that it's more likely we'll be just seeing some kind of aggressive, maybe even 2 base all in. But meanwhile, here he is, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map with the 1-0 lead in this qualifying match. It is the Australian Terran Azure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the red Zerg player himself representing the land of New Zealand. It is RiSky.
And here we go. We'll be seeing the CC first once again out of Azure. We do have to remember that last game. He did go for a CC first into a 2-on-1, something a little bit different, but it does look like going back to a bit more of the standard gameplay this time.
Yeah, shout out to Asher for reminding us, because that happened so long ago. That was such an intense, brutal series where it did all begin with a little bit of greed and with that 2-on-1 opener. But yeah, as you're pointing out, Azure going for something a little bit more normal here. And this is what I was talking about earlier, as you were cleaning up a couple of things in your apartment, about how Azure, like, he's just got one of the most fun things about him is that he just has so many different openers available to him, so many different builds as well. He's a very diverse player. He's not like Piglet, which is a little bit predictable in a sense.
Yeah, he does have a few different options here. One thing I will say as well is, if there was a map to go mech on, it would be either this one or Stargazers. This map does have some pretty nice defensive setup here, so there is that possibility for him, but I know he's not the biggest believer in mech at the moment.
Interesting, because I do recall, especially when Azure was a little bit more active a couple of years ago, at least once in a best of series against Zerg, he would whip out mech. He is more than willing to do so. So as soon as you bring that up, I am a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit worried. But if you're saying that in current meta, in current day and age, in the current map pool, he's not too fond of it, then yeah, maybe we won't see that.
Yeah, that's right, and we are seeing a 3CC coming out from him now. So we'll just be throwing down that factory, we'll just be getting a few extra minerals, and then looking to throw down that third. And, actually going for an early second gas, so something a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. Going to be going into a variant of a Juan. I imagine, meanwhile, across the map, we do see Azure here with that Reaper trying to dance between this mineral line, trying to get a drone, does force a gas geyser, doesn't get a drone kill yet. Oh.
Yeah, just poking away at that drone, but the Ling micro is good, is able to keep those safe, isn't losing any links either. So Azure just dropping down here is going to be able to scout that third. He's just going to poke around here, and sees the Queen is defending. It's just going to try to keep the pressure on, but nothing really going to be happening here.
Yeah, nothing major. He's going to just keep this Reaper alive and just confirming that nothing crazy is going on. Meanwhile, across the map, it's that's 1-1-1. We are seeing that add-on swap, and we'll see where this ends up taking us here. Whether we are, actually not going for a tech lab, so not going to be going for a bit of an add-on switch.
Yeah, just making that extra Marine to be safe. This does have the potential to go into a Hellbound build, but it doesn't have to either. Can just go into a standard build from here.
Yeah, it could even go into, dare I say, BC. We'll see what Azure has in store for us.
Yeah, that's right. As that Starport finishes up, and there is the fusion core indeed.
I can feel it coming, Papi. I can. It's always BC, Asher. It's always BC.
Maybe it's gonna be 2-port BC.
Oh no. I'm gonna leave. I'm done. Oh god. But yeah, we are gonna be seeing this BC open. I mean, RiSky still has this Overlord alive, bear that in mind, and he's gonna get eyes on these Hellions, so he can kind of piece a couple of things together. He can recognize that a BC opener is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, we do have that Ling running in for the scout there. Azure is quick on the depot, is able to raise that up, and he is diving straight in with these Hellions. Nice little greed check here. Does catch RiSky skimping on the Lings, and he's going to be able to get a lot of damage here. 10 drones going down already, and they are stacking up as well.
Oh my god, and Azure, he wants a little bit more. He will get 12 drones in total and a lot of lost mine time. A great start here for Azure, and because of all this damage, there's a possibility that RiSky, he's going to be a little bit more concerned with re-droning, less concerned with making stack defense for something that may be a possibility and not even confirmed.
Yeah, that's right. We do have this counter poke coming across the map here, but the Hellions are there. They are ready. This does show RiSky that Azure has gone up to 10 Hellions total, which does make it, a little bit more likely for something aggressive to be coming his way. We do have that BC starting up as well, and we do have the spores going down for RiSky at a pretty safe, normal time.
Yeah, exactly. 1 spore for each base. Looking at the units here, we have 6 queens, so we're actually lacking a little bit in the queen count here for RiSky, as oh my god, Azure, he dives in again, doesn't commit, but again, forces more lost mining time.
Yeah, try just forcing more lost mining time there as the lair and the Baneling nest is coming up there for RiSky, but RiSky still hasn't been able to get a scout on what's coming his way.
Yeah, he's still in the dark. It could be Banshees, it could be Hellbats, could be anything. He's getting a safety Baneling nest as well, just in case. Meanwhile, the first BC is now done, and it looks like we will only get one BC.
Yes, it will just be that one BC into Bio. This is a build that I've really been liking, actually. You can go into an 8 racks from here as well if you keep this BC alive. It gives you a lot of utility later on. It does look like he's going to be going after that high energy queen, and he does take that down.
Yeah, he does get the queen. Doesn't get any of those drones, though, as the BC is going to be forced out of the main base. At least he does force a reaction out from RiSky, and he will keep this BC alive.
Yeah, RiSky not able to start a step after this BC, so the BC will be getting out. Does duck back just to get this overload, but the transfuse is good here.
Oh, but is it going to be good enough as he edges on closer? He wants the overload, and it looks like he will get the overload, but and even escapes.
God, that was so greedy.
Oh.
And he gets out on 4 health on that battlecruiser. He will just be tucking that into the corner there. Whoa.
I love how we even have a queen here on the right hand side as well, so Azure has to make sure he maybe even teleports back home or something. It's still a very precarious situation for this BC, as across the map Azure is expanding, and with this scout RiSky is confirming, okay, it is not BC into mech.
Yeah, RiSky does poke in, does get a look on those barracks as well as the 30's down and landing for Azure. And we will have things progressing along pretty normally. So your upgrades are a little bit delayed here as well as RiSky, as we hear that teleport as the BC gets out of that corner there. We do have the Spire going down for him as well.
Interesting, a much more older school style. It makes sense, just in case we do have a commitment into even more BCs, so Spire makes sense as a response. But it looks like we are going to be getting into that Ling Bane. Imagine Muta.
Yeah, and he has opted to delay his upgrades by quite a lot here. So what happens here is if Azure can cotton on to exactly what's happening with these mutas, with the delayed upgrades as well, he does have a really nice 2-2 timing once he gets towards maxed out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if he can make use of that as, oh my god, at the same time we do have a massive Ling Rammet here at the third base location. Azure real quick to pull away those SCVs, so he will only lose 2 in the end. At the same time, Hellbat push is coming in, but there's plenty of Ling Bane to defend it.
Yeah, try it. So Azure will just have to pick up and get out of there, not without taking out a few of these Banelings first. Does drop that tank back off there so that he can pick up these Marines once he has his boost. Does look that Stim that is just going to run out, and these Marines are going to be taken down. So a little bit of a dicey situation now for Azure.
Yeah, definitely. After all of that, only 3 Marines live to tell the tale. They do turn in and come back home. Again, though, Azure does keep his workers alive, and I was honestly really impressed with that, despite the fact that he honestly had nothing at home to defend other than a BC. So as a result, like, the worker counts are still relatively even as RiSky now decides to drone up.
Yeah, the worker count is good, and we see Azure is going for that build I was talking about with the 8 racks, but he is going to get his 2-2 started up first, actually throwing down some tech labs on those racks, so he'll be going for a bit of a Marauder variant, something that has gained in popularity recently, although I think once he sees these mutas, he will just be making Marines off that.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be the case. Unfortunately, Azure is not ready for these mutas at all. They're going to slip into the main base where there are no turrets, there is no preparation, and SCVs are going to get picked off.
Yeah, quick pull there. He's going to teleport the BC as well. That is just going to trap these mutas, forcing them to go through the Marines here. But unfortunately, the extra Marines not in position. And that is going to be more SCVs going down.
Yeah, exactly. 12 SCVs do go down, already kind of making this worth it here for RiSky. So any kind of worker or economic advantage that Azure had earlier is being nullified here by these mutas. And behind this, RiSky does have the freedom to expand, to take more bases, to drone.
Yeah, that's right. Just popping in with that Ling as well to see that there is no turret, so he's going to follow up with those mutas. Azure does have his Marines in position, so he's going to be able to shoot these mutas away. And I do like for him that he has been going for this ARAX. It does mean that he has a pretty nice timing against these mutas.
Oh, exactly. As the mutas were left a little bit idle there, 2 mutas are going to go down to those Marines. And as you're saying, we are waiting for this upgrade timing. The army supply of Azure looking quite strong, looking quite powerful. Isn't incorporating any window mines yet, just committing to the pure bio, and even has a bit of a double drop here active on the top left.
Yeah, that's right. And this 2-2 timing is going to be absolutely brutal for Azure because as we can see, the 2-2 of RiSky only just starting up now. So now we see Azure starting to move out with this army.
Oh.
And nice pickups there as well, getting all that Marines out.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Even silencing his opponent a little bit there, wasting those banelings as the Marine rain does fall. At the same time, here comes a push towards the bottom right-hand corner, but there's a lot of Link Bane waiting for him. Oh, my God.
Yeah, nice trades here. Is as they're looking at this army, he does stim, does accidentally move forward a bit of mispathing there, but sieges up the tanks nonetheless. Good micro here with the Marines is going to be able to start taking out all of these banelings, but nice hits there for RiSky at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like RiSky will be able to barely defend here. We'll clean this up just before Azure gets +2 armor.
Yeah, that's right, but Azure can take this momentum now. He's traded out a lot with the army, and this is something you do want to be doing with the ARAX. Maybe he needed a little bit more efficient trades, but it does mean that he can start to try to snowball things now.
Yeah, he is going to attempt to. I mean, we have 18 banelings on the way, but they're not ready yet. The army is actually going to find those morphing banelings.
Yeah, these Marauders jumping straight on top of these morphing banelings, and Marauders are going to be able to provide a nice little meat shield for these Marines as well, especially if they can block off one of these rams, as we do see. I believe that was a battlecruiser going down.
Yeah, the BC teleported in towards that third base, but it did go down to the mutas in the end. Meanwhile, banelings are going to be crashing a little bit into those Marauders. Decent splits here coming out from Azure. Ooh.
Yeah, good splits, but pretty good connections there on the Marines in the end there, and GG is called.
GG, well played. RiSky will fight back, and I have to wonder if Azure went for a little bit of an anti-timing there. Again, we saw that massive engagement towards the bottom right. To be fair, I'm sure he wasn't expecting RiSky to be ready with an army, so he probably thought he had a little bit more time for his upgrades to really kick in.
Yeah, I think so. As we are now 1-1.
We are now 1-1. We are going to be going into our game number 3. As a reminder, it is a best of 5, so we still have plenty of games ahead of us. Still plenty of games to come. Oh, and yeah, we'll see where this road leads us. Meanwhile, just quickly checking here on the brackets. I believe, do we have any other updates here on that other qualifying match? We do not. Oh my god. It looks like over on Renegade's channel, Ender versus Raza is still ongoing. Actually, Ender up 2-1 against Raza right now. Wow, I'm honestly pretty impressed here. Ender just going for the run of his life, one game away from taking down Raza and qualifying for that main event. We'll see if he can pull it off as we are going to be getting ready for our next game. Oh, looks like the lobby has been made.
Yeah, lobby is up and ready to go, and we will be spawning in here on Data C.
As we are, I was just updating everyone with the series score on the other stream. And again, Ender, he's so close to qualifying. Shout out to the Juggernauts. I do know that some of the managers and owners were in the chat earlier. We apologize for not covering your boys, but at least they are being streamed.
Yeah, they are being covered over there on Renegade X Studios, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So here we are, and we are 1-1 coming into this series. Spawning in the top right hand corner of the map, it is the Australian Terran in the red. It is Azure.
And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Data under the sea, we have the blue Zerg player himself. Tying up that series 1-1, it is RiSky.
Alright, so what will we be seeing this time coming out from Azure? He has shown that he has a nice breadth of different openings, but on Data C, I would expect him to go for something a little bit more defensive, as we do see he will be going for a CC first.
Oh, is going for a CC first once again. And when it comes to being defensive, are you alluding? If he were to ever whip it out, would he whip out mech on Data C?
It is possible, but it does look like he is going to start off with the CC first, and this does give him a few little timings, especially with his 2-base setup. So it'll be interesting to see whether he goes for that 2-on-1 once again.
Yeah, we will keep our eye on that. Meanwhile, on the Zerg side of things, we still have a pretty standard opener, hatch gas pool coming out from RiSky. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the norm. I don't really expect anything too out of the norm, at least until the later stages of the game. It was pretty interesting to see RiSky go into a much more Muta-heavy composition on Tropical Sacrifice, something that we don't see too often anymore, but it is always a treat to see, that Lingwei Muta against the fire.
Yeah, with that second Rax going down, we will be having a 2-1-1 once again. So, yeah, it is on Azure to see if he can get a little bit more damage this time, possibly even change things up going into either a 2-base all-in, or I know you can even go into Mac off this. It's a bit offbeat, but it is possible.
I'm sure Gumiho's done it before.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So we'll see. I don't know if do you know about Azure's opinion on Gumiho? Has he said anything about him?
He hasn't, but I'm sure it's not particularly high.
Hey, look, Gumiho's one of the best Terrans in the world, okay? But fair enough. He has his own style of play. It's understandable. As we have the Tech Lab and Reactor on the way here for Azure, it's going to be on RiSky to try and get eyes on things for the time being. Just getting his third base up on time and sending out his Ling as a Reaper did not show up.
Yeah, just sending out that scouting Ling on time, so he's going to be able to go over there and check what's going on. I will see that Marine on the ramp once again, so we'll have a pretty fair idea that it might be the same opening.
Yeah, very reminiscent of game number 1 in this series here. So RiSky just gonna get eyes on things, and I'm sure he'll be getting a little bit of a flashback to that moment as the Marine does shoo this thing away.
Yeah, so I'm just getting a bit distracted by some of the banter in the chat.
Oh no.
We have Mia Micah saying to David, I bought a kiwi fruit and wrote mighty on it, then I ate it. It feels good.
That's why I love Mia Micah. It's like it's banter, but it's creative banter, like oh my god. Beautiful.
Meanwhile, we do see these Lings just poking up here. They are going to be able to get eyes as well on the Marine count of Azure, so that will help him to understand what kind of build is coming his way as that Overlord is shoot out by the Marines of Azure.
Boy, exactly. It looks like the Overlord is going to be shoot away, barely surviving here with his life. Azure going to be able to force that back, and again, just keeping RiSky in the dark, as RiSky hasn't really been able to see much at all in the main base of Azure.
Yeah, that's right, and we are once again seeing this 2-1-1 coming along together. Azure very good with these timings, nice and crisp with these, so we'll be looking to hit another crisp double drop timing. We do see that third Rax going down as well, so this does increase the possibility that we could be seeing a 2-base all-in.
Yeah, definitely. A third Rax is very out of the norm here. It's very far back as well. We were talking earlier about how RiSky has very limited scouting information to work with. Even more so, like, he may just be getting flashbacks of game number 1, and maybe this is a bit of a setup here for Azure, making it all seem like that first game when it really isn't.
Yeah, and with that third gas going down, I'm quite sure this is going to be a 2-base all-in coming out from Azure.
Boy, exactly. Do have an NG Bay on the way to just wall off. Meanwhile, here we go. Azure may not be playing like Gumiho, but he's playing like Beyond because he's moving out without his medevacs.
Yeah, the medevacs on the way now. We should be seeing pretty soon a 4th and 5th Rax going down as well. So this is going to be a very aggressive play coming out from Azure. Doesn't want to play out the long game on Data C, just wants to get this one over and done with, get the quick win here.
Yeah, exactly. The game will end one way or another. Meanwhile, we do see that RiSky has been actually, very patient when it comes to droning. We do have quite a large amount of Lings and Banelings ready for this push. Banelings are going to be on the way, of course. No Baneling speed or anything like that. They will be able to waddle in, but he is ready.
Yeah, that's right. Great scan there from Azure. We'll be able to see the entire army, realizing that because RiSky has cut drones, there's no pressure on him now to commit to this.
Boy, exactly. Now Azure can back off from here. We do see that he's still doubling down, though. We have a Liberator on the way as well, actually.
Yeah, he's happy with his medevac count here. He is going to use that Liberator just to solidify this push. This is something I believe might have been Dream doing it against Raynor. Anyway, it was one of the Korean Terrans doing it against Raynor in the recent GSL to great effect, skipping straight into these Liberators, and does mean that you have a very strong push here where you can deny those queens from letting your tanks get set up.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how all this is incorporated. Meanwhile, there was a bit of a scout. We do see a Ling here, does catch the tanks and Liberators moving out across the map, and RiSky is just throwing down a couple of macro hatches, and he is still just pumping out nothing but Ling Bane.
Yeah, that's right. RiSky is just going to sit on this 60 drone count, a bit more of... this is kind of like what you would be doing if you're going for a Ling Bane all-in, where he's just going to try to crush these pushes.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like he has enough supplies to go for a little bit of a run by as well, or even set up for a bit of a surround, just to keep an eye on things, just to try and catch some reinforcements and maybe even deny a third as he sets up his Banes.
Yeah, he does have these Banes on the way, so this is going to be a massive Bane bust coming in here. Meanwhile, he does have a lot of Banes at home ready to defend, so he's going to be able to jump on top of these Marines. And it's going to be on Azure to be able to sniff out what is happening here. And it does look like he is rallying his reinforcements into his main, so he realizes that there is some supply missing. But as I say that, he is moving out with that.
Yeah, he is moving out again. I say very all in, but we do have a third CC behind this, so Azure is looking to maybe even try and macro from here, but he has to be careful because Baneling speed is done, and RiSky is setting up for a surround.
Yeah, these units do show themselves on the reinforcements. That is going to be Azure's signal to just back off a little bit. He does have these Liberators in position protecting these tanks as well, but RiSky, having cordoned off the reinforcements, is going to be able to attack now into the base of Azure.
Yeah, exactly. The Banelings roll on in. The wall is no longer a wall. The Lings break into the natural base, and with this, they're going to be able to get a surround on these Marines and even get into the mineral line.
Yeah, they are running straight at the mineral line. The SB is going to run away here. Nice little mineral walking here. He's going to be able to escape all of his units back, but a bit of an unfortunate Bane here. That does take out a lot of these Marines, and that takes out a lot of the sting of the push of Azure. It did also leave behind his Liberators, so they will be going down to the Queens.
Oh, God, exactly. Only one Liberator will survive. We see a bit of a scan here from Azure, trying to figure out what bases have been taken, what the state of RiSky's economy is. Thankfully, Azure did keep all of his workers alive, but again, that one Baneling hit towards the end did hurt.
Yeah, so quite a few of those workers going down for Azure, but at the same time, he is getting this third base up. So all in all, he is not out of this game yet. He can get this third up and mining and start to transition into a later game, but it does mean that he is going to have to play very defensively for the moment.
Yes, exactly. We'll be stuck at home for the time being. For the most part, I say for the most part because we do have two Liberators moving out across that to try and harass and try and deal some equalizing damage here to RiSky. We'll see if he can pull that off as RiSky is actually going towards... Oh, Hydra Death.
Yeah, interesting. He's going to be going into a Hydra Ling Bane style. I do like the idea of having locals on this map just to tie things down, and eventually can look to try to break Azure on his 4 or 5 bases, even just denying a 5th base and playing for a late game.
Oh, exactly. You know, Azure, this is not what he wanted. He didn't want to get into a longer game, but that may be what he has found himself in, as he's going for a double drop as well. So that multi-prong harass is real. We don't have any spores whatsoever in the main of RiSky.
Yeah, he's going to deny all of this mining in the main here while he sends that double drop down to the south. Does look like RiSky's army is in position to deal with that double drop. This Queen just trying to edge in and get some shots off on those Liberators. Will manage to do that just at the same time keeping Azure busy on the front here.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like these Liberators will have to reposition. At least they do survive for the time being. Double drop wasn't able to do too much damage, but at least Azure is well aware of the bases that are being taken.
Yeah, that's right, and now it is time for Azure to turtle. Does recognize that sport is on the move, so he's going to be able to keep those Liberators safe. He's putting in them in that anti-F2 mode over in the corner there, and it's time to move out with just another double drop again to keep track of this creep.
Oh, God. That we do. The creep is getting a little bit out of hand, not too much. It is now at the halfway point. At least Azure is here to clean up as much of it as possible, able to stim his way through. And with that, he's barely going to be able to pick up these these Marines. And yeah, we're just kind of getting into a bit of a longer game here. Both players just trying to establish their own sides of the map.
Yeah, that's right. We do see as well that RiSky did have to delay his upgrades a little bit to get the defense here. So his 1-1 still on the way, still finishing up. Meanwhile, Azure starting to get into his 2-2, starting to get his 4th base on the way. We'll just be turtling up and trying to play for a later game.
Yeah, I do hope Azure does recognize that +2 attack hasn't quite started yet for him, as he has plenty of reasons for that, but we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, at the same time, geez, there are just so many queens here for RiSky. I did notice it earlier, but we have 14 queens.
Yeah, that's right. It has gone very heavy into the queen count. This is a pretty standard play against a 2-base all-in, but fortunately for Azure, he didn't fully commit to it. He's going to get that pickup as well and get out of there. This is a huge army here for RiSky.
It really is. I mean, we are now max. RiSky can afford to try and break one of these positions, whether it's pushing in towards the third base or even trying to deny the fourth as it tries to be taken.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to see a little skirmish here with the Lings and the Marines. I'm just going to trade off a little bit with those Lings there and put some more pressure on as they show themselves to this watchtower rotating around to the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, here we go. The multi-prong is real, but that's a kill, not a cancel. Azure does take down that Sig.
Yeah, very nice multi-prong. He's going to be able to pick up and go into the main now as he attacks on the bottom right-hand corner of the map at the same time.
Oh yeah, exactly, but the spores reposition in time. Azure doesn't commit to the drop into the main base. At the same time, the double drop towards the bottom right-hand corner does trade here with the Ling main, just stutter stepping as best as he can. Oh, even nice target fire on those Banelings.
Yeah, very good target fire on the Banelings does mean that he has more potential here to continue a push. Meanwhile, on the side of RiSky, we do see an attack coming in here, but the tanks are in position and they are going to push this back.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, they are going to at least be delaying this fourth base, but they can't do much more than that, as we do see Azure finally getting into his 2-2 again. +2 attack a little bit late compared to +2 armor, but he has remembered it, and he is even going into a Ghost Academy.
Yeah, so he has all of his upgrades on the way. Unfortunately, missing out on that +2 attack does mean that he will have to stay defensive.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a little bit difficult to be a little bit too more active on the map. And that's a scary prospect because RiSky now has a hive. We have a lurker den on the way. The creep shred is getting quite out of control just because of the sheer amount of queens that we have. And Azure, he's not going to be able to be as active as he otherwise would have been.
Yeah, that's right. As we see some of those Marines trading out with the Lings once again, he's going to clean up that active creep tumor there as well.
Yeah, he's going to be able to clear out whatever he can. Even this drop with 3 Marines, doing whatever he can to slow down RiSky, to keep him busy. RiSky has been maxed out for quite some time, but again, he hasn't really been able to make use of that supply. Thankfully, because of that defensive position, and now Azure does get his 4th.
Yeah, that's right. That 4th is finally up and going. He is starting to make his extra CCs as well, which is very important as we see the lurker upgrades beginning for RiSky.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of what we've been grown accustomed to on Data C, especially in this matchup. It's not the first time that we've seen a Terran player turtle up here on 4 bases looking to try and take a 5th while the Zerg just takes the rest of the entire map. Thank you, Maru. Thank you. Oh boy.
How is that Mara's fault?
It's all his fault. It's all his fault.
What you have to do. We don't want to do this. Trust me, we don't want to do this.
Look, I'm sure there are some Terran players that want to do this, okay? But yeah, this is just how this map does play out. To be fair, it is mainly this map compared to all the others. This is just the most defensible one.
Yeah, this is a very defensible map. Also, all the open area through the center, it's very hard to get any pushes going, especially once those rocks are down. You can see right now, it would be pretty impossible to find a push path for the Terran. So we are just going to total up into the Ghost, into the later game. Hopefully going to be looking to start to get some harass going with the Liberators, maybe some nuke harass going as well. That is something that we see quite a lot on this map as an option to get something going on the other side of the map.
Definitely. For a moment there, I thought you were going to contest it and be like, no, man, you got to do this on every map, Poppy. I'm like, what are you saying to the people, Asher? What are you saying? Meanwhile, we do see RiSky engaging a little bit here, but honestly, a great trade for Azure. Has to be careful not to overextend. Is going to be able to clear up some of this creep, and this is going to be a pivotal moment here for this game. Can Azure get this 5th base up and running?
Yeah, the pressure is on. Meanwhile, RiSky is going to take this opportunity to run in, but this Marine count for Azure, this is a huge amount of Marines. If he can avoid taking hits from the Banelings, which he has done for the most part so far, but he will lose his base.
Yeah, the Marines avoid the Banelings, but the base does not. At the same time, though, the Queen count is being reset, overextending a little bit. RiSky is, but it's okay. He had a massive bank. He has still a massive bank behind this.
Yeah, this bank is absolutely enormous for RiSky. He can do this 3, 4, 5 times over. And Azure, the pressure is on for him to get some damage, but unfortunately, these Overseers do cover up the Banelings and he's not able to get the snipes.
Yeah, the snipes were not there. The target firing wasn't there either. Azure forced all the way back. Again, his defensive position is still quite strong, and he is still keeping up, don't get us wrong, but again, he still needs this 5th base up and running, and I'm like, it disgusts me how much minerals and gas RiSky has right now.
Yeah, this is an enormous bank for the Zerg. Pretty smudged position for the Terran. This is a rough one because, you do have to stay in and do whatever you can, but you are significantly behind here. But we do see him getting up his extra bases. We see him taking further into Ghosts. If he can make an extremely high quality army here, he can hold on for long enough to get himself back into this game.
Yeah, it's all about the efficiency of Terran and being able to out-trade the Zerg army, and that is why we have all these towers, all these planetaries. We are actually heavily turtling up here on these 5 bases. It's unfortunately one of, if not the only way for Azure to really get back into this game, to slow the game down in this fashion.
Yeah, meanwhile, we see his turrets coming up to help deal with the lurkers. We see a drop being sent out as he does have that triple drop. Looks like he's just going to use it to reinforce this south side here. But he will be looking at some stage to start to get rid of some of these Marines and increase the quality of his army, probably replacing them with Ghosts.
Yeah, more Ghosts, maybe even Thors if we do have a Spire transition or a greater Spire transition later on down the line, or just more tanks depending on that lurker count. Speaking of, I don't believe we actually, we don't have a single lurker yet. RiSky just staying on Ling Main Hydra Viper.
Yeah, try just staying on that composition, taking a lot of the map here. Not going to go into lurkers until he seems it absolutely necessary, especially with Azure not pushing out too much on the map apart from this little bit of harass here. But this is very important for Azure to start getting rid of his bio here, so I do like that he's thinking of trading that out.
Yeah, there we go. He's trading this out. He's got more Ghosts on the way. He's got 2 more Ghost Academies as well for those nukes that you were talking about. And wow, he even catches a basically free mineral line.
Yeah, he's going to be able to take down this base. He does have his 3-3 on the way. I believe his +3 armor already finished up from that little mistake earlier on in the game with the armor going out first. We see the EMP upgrade on the way for those Vipers as well.
Yeah, enhanced shockwaves on the horizon. The tank count is slowly sieging on forward. Azure, with these couple of drops, has been able to achieve quite a bit. Sniping some bases, sniping some mineral lines, doing whatever he can to just keep RiSky back. But hurting the economy isn't necessarily what we're looking for. It's all about trading with this army, and it's going to be hard to trade efficiently against all these mains.
Yeah, that's right. And RiSky here, he is on 12k minerals, 5k gas. I wonder if this would be a good time to start trading army for tech units. Azure is very well set up defensively, but if he ever tries to take an extra base, it's just not really going to be possible.
Yeah, and I guess there is a world, especially because this army is relatively low tech for RiSky, where if one big major fight happens and Azure is able to trade insanely efficiently, then maybe he can go for a bit of a kill move. Maybe he can counterattack and try to end the game then and there. There may be a window, there may be an opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, we see 53 Banelings are here for RiSky. Pretty crazy amount of Banelings. It's a lot of army value there represented. And it's going to be on Azure to start to think about where he wants to take his 6th base. There is a possibility that he can start working into this top left-hand corner of the map, taking the low ground and then taking the base beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. There are going to be a couple of options here. That's also why the onus is on RiSky to try and mine out these fringe bases first, a little bit faster, to try and deny all of those resources from the Terran.
Yeah, I do like that he has this base of the Terran oversaturated here, just trying to mine this out as fast as he can.
Yeah, exactly. Already fully saturated. Meanwhile, we want to give a massive shout out to Renegade X Studios for raiding with a party of 38. Thank you so much. Ooh, as we have a couple of power bombs, even a yoink.
Yeah, it does yoink that tank over, and a lot of those bio going down, and that will give the signal for RiSky to poke in, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, it does think better of it. But yeah, as Renegade does give us a raid, thank you so much for providing coverage to the DreamHack Oceania closed qualifier. I believe that does mean that that Raza versus Ender has wrapped up.
Yeah, so it does look like this will be our last time over here. Sorry, our last match for this event.
Oh yeah, for this qualifier, it all comes down to this. Meanwhile, I imagine Tonaso is going to give us a bit of an update on who that qualified player was, whether it was Ender or Raz. I believe Ender was on match point at the time, so I think it may be him, but we'll wait for that confirmation. Meanwhile, I'm a little bit surprised, but yeah, 3-3 still, the upgrade is still on the way here for RiSky. It's possible that he maybe forgot about them earlier, but yeah, they are just now finishing up.
Yeah, that's true. It can be a stylistic choice as well, just to stay on 2-2 for a while, as we do see all of these spines going down and the nukes have begun.
Oh, the nukes have begun, but at the same time, in comes that Ling Bane once again towards that triangular third base location. The tanks are going down, the bases are going down. This is just how many Banelings there were.
Yeah, that's right. That PF going down immediately, but Azure is going to be able to duck around. A really nice nuke there, taking out the entire mining of that base in the bottom right-hand corner. And it now will be on these ghosts to protect themselves.
Yeah, that it will. Looks like one ghost will go down. A solid nuke here on the right-hand side. A great value for that one nuke. Looks like, oh, we're attempting to get a nuke here towards the south. Looks like Azure is going for it.
Yeah, the nuke through the center as well there, just taking out a lot of the creep. Unfortunately, the army of RiSky already here was able to take down that ghost, and those last couple of ghosts, pretty low on energy, are just going to leave for the moment.
Exactly, and this is where, oh god, this is where I do worry, because RiSky can now remax. We were talking about his bank earlier, how insanely disgusting it was, and Azure is even struggling to hold on to some of these locations here. There is no sense tower. He doesn't really have vision on where the army can be on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and RiSky's playing this out so safe. Looking at this supply lead that he has, and looking at the bank, he has 15k, 10k in the bank. Honestly, he can mess this up so many times over and still be okay, but I think that's what he wants still in reserve. He just wants to play this out as safely as possible, and that is the correct way to do things.
Yeah, I really appreciate that he hasn't over-invested into tech, right? Into making like an army of Broodlords and an army of Ultras or an army of Lurkers and losing those, because that will eat away at his bank over time, especially if he doesn't trade efficiently. So staying on this relatively low-tech Lingbane army is definitely the right call.
Yeah, meanwhile, I see these nukes going down at the same time. The nuke in the top left will be responded to, and this one in the bottom right will be responded to just in time, only losing 8 drones there, which, you know, I think he can afford to rebuild them.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh my god, we even have a zoning nuke here on the left-hand side as well, but the Lings do not fall for it. They will back off in the end, and a nuke on towards the right. If one of these nukes lands with the connects with the army, you know, maybe that will be another way for Azure to get back into this.
Yeah, RiSky is recognizing here that that nuke went down. If this ghost does turn its hold fire off, it might be able to finish off this hatchery as well. There it goes.
Ah, there it goes. Look at that. Ghosts for Lings, vultures, even bases.
Even bases. As we see these Marauders being traded out in the top left-hand corner here, we'll be taking out this extra base, but honestly, with the bank of RiSky, he could have all his bases immediately explode right now, and he would still be able to take maybe 3-4 full army trades here and still be okay. So things are looking rough for the Terran here, but some very good moves going down to keep himself in this one.
Yeah, like again, Azure has been trading incredibly well throughout all of this. You know, he has been able to deny some bases. He is looking to expand towards the top left-hand corner of the map as well. Sure, we have already had some mining there, and there isn't as many resources, but a base is a base nonetheless.
That's right, and we're seeing extra orbitals going down. We are seeing the Hellbats going down, so he is slowly refining his army. He has done a very good job so far of getting rid of his bio slowly, not throwing away too much of that all at once yet. But we do see a bit of an attack coming in here on the right-hand side.
And that we do have the ghosts retreating all the way back to Lingbane. They want those ghosts so badly. It looks like they will settle for the CC. In the end, they won't get it. They do trade, though, with a couple of those tanks, with a couple of those Liberators.
Yeah, not the best trades, but honestly, he can take poor trades for days at this point, as Azure still hasn't been able to take a 6th base.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like finally on the low ground. It is a fresh base, by the way. No player has been able to mine from this, so Azure is finally going to be able to get this up and running, but the tech has finally been chosen. Lurkers are coming out.
Yeah, finally at 17k, 10k, he has decided, yeah, I could spare a bit of money, you know. That should be alright. And we do see a Nidus coming up as well.
I think that's a bit greedy though, taking up when he has that much. Like, maybe he should wait a little bit longer, I don't know.
Brett can just get away with anything.
Speaking of, there we go. Double Nidus, triple Nidus into the main base. The Lunkers are ready to take control of that production. There's only a single tank here. At the same time, the Lingbane does collapse on top of the army.
Yeah, RiSky has finally had enough, and this will be the kill move. That Nidus is absolutely going to get up. Really nice trades there, but it doesn't matter. He is losing this crucial base here, and the Lurkers are in the main. Exactly,
they're in the main. They're on the production. Azure will have to lift up and take off because there is no way for him to really deal with this. The Nidus does end up finishing. At the same time, Azure is going for a massive counterattack. RiSky did throw away his army, and oh my god, RiSky heavily supply blocked there for a moment.
Yeah, a little bit of a supply block there, but he has 6 overlords starting up. He can just make as many overlords as he want, honestly. I don't think it's really going to matter if he spends a few extra minerals, and this production is going down here.
Oh, exactly. In a bit of a desperation move, Azure also sending his army across the map, does get caught in the center of the map as well. The ghosts do turn around. They will be able to regain control of the main base, but only after losing so much of his production.
That's right, and those ghosts have been cloaked for a while, so they are entirely out of energy as well.
Oh boy, that they are. And now Azure is on the back foot. Azure, he's running out of money.
Yeah, I gotta say, as a Terran, as a friend of Azure as well, this is a pretty painful one to watch because really the writing has been on the wall from the start, but he has fought tooth and nail to keep himself in this one. But it's just so difficult to get anything done here. I think we are seeing the end as we speak.
We've been, I mean, we've been trying to talk about it this entire time about how because of the bank, it's so difficult for the Zerg player to really throw this away. It's just been a slow death here for Azure. Even here, pushing up a ramp into tank lines with Hydras of all things. Like, this is not a good way to go about this, but he pushes through anyway. Like, he trades well enough.
Yeah, that's right. And we do see Nidus coming up. Azure is prepared for that. His defense has been rock solid. Manages to defend that. And he does have a reasonable ghost count coming up here. But this ghost not really supported by any medevacs, not really supported by any splash damage either. And Azure still is not able to establish a 6th base. He is on so little mining at this point. Yeah,
exactly. He's running out of resources. Meanwhile, the only thing that I have to say is that Asher, you know, Lunkers were made this game. But this game wasn't because of Lunkers, okay?
No, just because of Zerg.
Leave the Lunker alone. That's all I'm saying.
Don't even need your most broken unit. Incredible.
As we see Azure trying to reestablish this 6th base here, at the same time, in comes RiSky, in come the Yoinks. Liberators do get on siege, mainly roll on forward. There's just not enough to buffer for these ghosts.
Yeah, and Azure has done such a wonderful job holding on, showed all his late game skills off, but really he was destined to lose from the start with those incredible, that huge difference in bank. He is holding on so well. Once again, I do say it as if it's going to be over, but it is not over yet. He is once again taking amazing trades with these ghosts. He's doing such a good job there and gets these mules down on this 6th base.
Yeah, I'm so shocked with how well he's been able to control his ghosts this entire game. They've never really ever been caught out of position. Azure, he's always really quick to pull them back, to keep them safe, to keep them alive. We see a massive mule hammer here at this 6th base, but the mules, they're all going to go down.
Yeah, these guys just going to stutter away from these links, take down as many as they can, but RiSky, he's had enough. He's diving in. He's putting his Niduses up in the main. These lurkers just running into the meat grinder as much as he can get away with these wasteful moves. Very wasteful indeed, but Azure just doesn't have the money to rebuild this. We do see these Kerrigan ghosts fighting for survival, and they will finally go down.
GG. RiSky will finally, after 30 minutes, take game number 3 and take a lead in this series. Oh. Oh my god. I like how quite a number of times that game we're like, RiSky, awful fight. He's winning.
Yeah.
That's basically what was being said, but it's just you know how ahead he was, and because of the map itself, you were talking about it before, because of data C, like despite your advantages, the defensive advantage is that much greater, so it does elongate and extend the game itself even further. That is one of the downsides of this map. But yeah, as a result, like it was a bit of a slower burn.
Yeah, and that's a tough game. That's a tough game on the mental, for sure. That's a very difficult game to play out as the Terran. Yeah. Maybe even a little bit tilting as the Zerg, having to spend so much time trying to play it out. But it does look like RiSky was happy to be really patient with that, not really digging into that bank too much at all.
Exactly. Very patient play. Very patient indeed. But also, it was in the middle of that game. I want to say thank you so much as well to a couple of people. I think it was Fizz Serpent in the chat also subscribed in the middle of that game as well. Thank you so much for subscribing 2 months in a row. Thank you, Fizz Serpent. Thank you. Another member of the Australian community. I appreciate it, Papi. I appreciate it. And, oh boy, we're not done. We're not done. And thankfully, Azure's not done yet either. He's ready to go.
Yeah, that's right. And we do have Stargazers coming up. This is a map that's going to be a little bit easier for him, and I don't think he's going to be going for that 2-base all-in once again. I think he's going to be happy to play his game on this map.
Yeah, I assume so as well. Surprising map, a map that we haven't been able to see today at all. I believe it may be the only map we haven't seen today. I can't recall if we've casted a game on Moondance, actually. But yeah, welcome to Stargazers.
Yeah, here we go. We are getting ready to start up on Stargazers. Both players are ready. In we go. And whew, yeah, that means RiSky does have the chance to get the qualification now. I believe that's 2-1 in his favor.
Oh yeah, it is. He needs one more game to qualify for that main event. Meanwhile, when it comes to the mental state here and how fatiguing a game like that can be and how mentally defeating it can be, what I will say is that, yo, Azure, he's been a Terran for over 10 years. Mate, he's been smudging for over 10 years straight. This is nothing, mate.
You can tell. You can tell.
Look at that. Look at that. He immediately made the next lobby. No hesitation, mate. He went through Heart of the Swarm, mech versus endless waves of Swarm. He went through Broodlord Infestor, mate. He's been through it all. He's seen some things. There's nothing.
Well, here he is. He survived it all, and he is still in this one. In the top right-hand corner of the map, it is our Australian Zerg. Cheer for him in the chat. It's his last chance. It is Azure.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Stargazers, we have the red Zerg player himself representing the land of New Zealand. It is RiSky.
Hopefully we won't have another 40-minute game because I'm starving.
I know, Puppy. I could feel it from the start of this series. Look, we have to persevere, okay? Look, if the players are here, we gotta be here for them, okay? We're gonna suffer together, okay?
Yes, we are suffering, but at least we're not playing Terran.
True. I shout out to Mike in the chat. Mike is saying you should have an option 10k to buy an Omegalisk. Oh god.
Yeah, we will be seeing me and Mikey going for the Omegalisk rush if that was the case.
True. Oh my god. But yeah, that was a brutal game. But alas, again, Azure is a very experienced player. He's got a lot of years of competitive play under his belt. He can brush it off, reset his mental, and he wouldn't have to worry about it until after the series. Then he can smudge.
Then he can smudge. And he sends this SCV in, just does get that scout. He's going to look to block this base over here as well.
Yeah, he is going to rotate over, just looking to delay that third hatchery. We do see the Reaper guessing correctly, but he will find that drone.
Yeah, good reactions from RiSky. Does have that ready to make the extractor and won't go down. So Azure just going to dive in, start to put some pressure on these drones, trade out with the Lings as well.
Yeah, just gonna do that little bit of a dance here with these Lings, gonna trade out as best he can. Meanwhile, back across the map, it was not a CC first like we have seen him pull off in the past. It was more standard racks. So more standard game coming out from Azure.
Yeah, we are seeing for the first time in this series a standard 3cc opener. And on this map, I'm not too surprised about that either. This is a map where you can get your third base if you choose to take that back base quite comfortably as well.
Yeah, something that's a little bit odd to me is that Azure opts to throw down that third CC not next to the mineral patches, but actually hidden in his main base, which obviously will mean that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to scout, but it does mean it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit inefficient when it comes to getting his base up and running.
Yeah, that's right. He does have some options here, but meanwhile, this is something that I know he does like to go for on maps that have a pocket base. Because you do have that safer third, you are safer from counterattacks. It does make it easier to go for a 3cc 2-on-1, and that's what we're seeing out of him now.
Oh, there we go. There is that second ranks on the way. It is going to be for that 2-on-1. The Overlord is going to dip in, and once it does, should be able to confirm this, should be able to see the tech lab researching, but doesn't see the third building.
Yeah, interesting. Doesn't manage to catch that third rack, so he won't know exactly what's going on until he dips back in and sees that second racks. Meanwhile, for Azure, we are seeing him just getting that third CC up and running.
Yes, there we go. Now being morphed into that orbital. We have the starport on the way. There is that add-on switch. And yeah, we're going to have some options here for Azure. Because it was that 3cc opener, he will have some Hellions to work with, despite the fact that this is, of course, a 2-on-1.
Yeah, that's right. It does have those few extra Hellions. He can get a little bit of map vision, get some aggression going out on the map. He's going to try to clear up this Overlord, but good response there with the Ling. The Hellions are there to come in clutch and defend it, and that Overlord will be going down.
It will go down. Supply blocking RiSky a little bit there as he makes an extra wave of Overlords. Meanwhile, everything's looking pretty standard here. He's able to drone up onto 3 bases. We have our Bailey Nest. We have our lair.
Yeah, everything coming along nicely for RiSky here. Is just going to drone up a little bit further before he starts to prepare for this drop. He hasn't really seen anything beyond the first few Hellions, so he's just going to be playing generally fairly safe. But with those extra gases going down here, I do wonder if he's going to be teching a little further.
Yeah, I think he's being a little bit too greedy right now because he may think it's just a 1-1-1 opener. By now, we should be seeing more Lings. There we go, 12 Lings are on the way. But as you're saying, these early gases are a little bit suspect. He could be looking to go into a Spire again.
Yeah, definitely possible, especially as we see these extra gases going down. It definitely looks like we are going to be seeing a Spire coming out from RiSky.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if Azure can catch wind of this before it's a little bit too late. Meanwhile, here we go. The army's pushing out. This is what I was assuming. We are seeing an armory with this, so it is going to be that 2-on-1 push with Hellbats.
Yeah, that's right. We have been talking a little bit about this build, and this is a really nice way to do the 2-on-1, where you can get a lot more aggression done, and this can transition into a constant aggression throughout the mid game. It can be possible for you to snowball, especially if you keep making Hellions, which we do see Azure doing here.
Yeah, here we go. More Hellions are being rallied across the map. Medivacs as well. He did kind of show his hand a little bit, so RiSky is morphing in as many Banelings as he can. This will eat into his gas bank. If he did wish to go into a Spire, this will delay it. But again, well worth it here, so he just doesn't die.
Yeah, that's right. And this build is designed to catch someone out being greedy, so it does have a nice little build matchup. Now, it will come down to the micro. He's going to jump straight on these queens, getting one immediately. Does have the Reaper here as well available for a grenade on these Banelings once they commit.
Yeah, exactly. The Banelings are rolling on in. They are soaked up by these Hellbats, but there are just still so many more Banelings.
Yeah, pretty good Baneling connections there, but a lot of them going down, and if that's only 3 Banelings remaining for RiSky, there is potential for the reinforcements of Azure to get some nice damage here.
Yeah, exactly. There is definitely potential. The Marines are going to be able to target down these queens, but there is enough energy for that transfuse. Azure being pushed back. When it comes to those reinforcements, they're not rallying across the map. They are staying at home.
Yeah, interesting that he hasn't been able to get up any more reinforcements. Does pick off a couple of those Banes there, so we do see him going into mines now as well.
Yeah, instead he's focusing on his production. He is working up here, up towards those 8 Raxes, is getting his third base up and running. Again, opting not to go for the pocket base, is actually taking the triangular third instead.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing an 8 racks all in here with the mines, so a little bit interesting here. It does look like he is going to be going for this style that Mario has been popularizing with Marauder mines. So a little bit of a different approach to the 8 racks.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how this will perform here against RiSky, especially if RiSky isn't necessarily up to date with current meta, up to date with current games of Maru. Meanwhile, we have a double drop here towards the bottom of the head corner. Azure will stumble across this 5th base.
Yeah, he's going to spot this base out. Should be able to get the deny on that as well. So he is jumping in on that. Meanwhile, making another push to the top right-hand corner and top left. And this is where these mines are going to come in clutch as he splits the attention of RiSky.
Yeah, exactly. There is the cancel towards the bottom left. Mines are now borrowed, but RiSky is going to try and bait them out. Ooh.
Yeah, he's going to soak them up on those queens. Couple queens going down, but very nice mine shot there for Azure, taking some nice trades here.
Yeah, exactly. RiSky not expecting a third mine there on top of that ramp is going to pay the price for it. At the same time, double drop is going to pull away the attention of the Link Bane, and even a queen gets taken out in the center of the map.
Yeah, bottom left-hand corner of the map, the attention for Azure is good. He is able to pick up all of those Marines, not losing any there, and he is starting to produce these Marauders, getting into his 2-2 as well.
That he is. Meanwhile, another Widowmine shot does go up on these Lings. Not quite on the Banelings, but a good trade nonetheless. We do have the 4th CC on the way as well. And yeah, like Azure, he's actually been doing really well for himself. He hasn't really sustained any economic losses of his own, and he has been able to keep that pressure up.
Yeah, just comfortably macroing away. As he starts to get into this 2-2, he can start to be more aggressive. He is sending out a mine drop as well here. A good way to use those extra mines and setting up a lot of pressure all over the map at this point.
Oh god, exactly. We'll see if RiSky can keep up with that pressure, as Hydras are now coming out. Didn't end up going into those mutas, did just go into those Hydras instead, working on those upgrades. Meanwhile, that main push is pushing through the center, clearing up whatever creep he can, but has to be careful not to overextend because there is a large Ling main army waiting for him.
Okay, he has done a nice job clearing this creep through the center. Nice reactions from RiSky. Is going to be able to get out of the way and even has the overseer here to clean up these mines, but there still are 2 more in the bank.
Yeah, they are in between the bases. Not quite enough dead space here, though, so I'm a little bit scared. It doesn't have much HP, and the Hydras could focus it down, but no, actually, RiSky doesn't notice.
Yeah, looks like RiSky has other things to concentrate on as he sets up this Bane run by. Looks like Azure is going to be ready for this one, but meanwhile, in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, taking out some of these Banelings and getting one of those medevacs out of there.
Yeah, one does manage to escape. At the same time, it looks like that drop is... Oh, that's still there.
I think it must have gone down. Oh, no, it's still there.
I was like, dude, I'm blind as well. I don't know where it is. But it will be... Oh, no, there we go. It is now headed in towards maybe even an F2 here on this medevac, and it will come across the path of the Queen.
Yeah, so that drop will be going down as there is all sorts of stuff going on all over the map. We do have a little bit of a counterattack here from RiSky, but this is a serious force that's building up for Azure. And with his 2-2 finishing up now, he can look to go for a push through the center of the map.
Yeah, this time he has not forgotten his upgrades. This time his 2-2 timing is going to be very crisp, and he is going to be pushing out. We have plenty of mines, plenty of Marauders, plenty of Marines, and there's not that much creep here in the middle of the map. RiSky is trying to spread them, but here comes Azure.
Yeah, fortunately for Azure, RiSky wasn't watching at that moment because his army was a little bit out of position. RiSky going to form a lot more Banelings here, so I would like to see a scan coming down for Azure to keep tabs on what's happening with this army.
Oh yeah, we don't see a scan on top of the ramp, but unfortunately he's going to rotate over towards the top side. Instead, he does catch a couple of those creeping queens.
Yeah, that's right, but those mines not being with the army, he does have to be very careful here, and that's exactly what he does. He is going to duck back. Nice job by RiSky there. He's going to be able to clear out those mines, baiting them out with the Lings.
Oh, but there's one mine left. Oh, it doesn't go off in the end. Meanwhile, RiSky, he missed all of this, is actually taking the gold.
Yeah, he is continuing to expand, but this is one of the advantages of this map for Terran, is it can be hard to get past your initial 6 bases here, especially if the creep is pushed back as it is.
Oh god, it really is. Meanwhile, here we go, forcing another engagement off of creep. There are so many Widow Mines. How are they going to get the connections, though? It looks like they will not. Ooh.
Yeah, pretty nice fight here for Azure. Does manage to take out a lot of these Banelings, but unfortunately with all these Widow Mines going down, he is finally going to be repelled, and these Hydras are going to be able to push him right back, taking out a lot of these medevacs as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And now Azure plummets in that supply. Again, those Widow Mines, there was a lot of potential there, and there was one really good shot, but only one amidst the entire minefield, and now Azure is going to be forced back.
Yeah, Azure is going to be forced back, and the supplies are telling a story. Things are pretty tough here for him, and that does give RiSky the space that he needs to establish that gold base.
Yeah, exactly. The gold base will get up and running. That's going to be a launch pad here for the creep as well, so you can just push it forward towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map. A lot of the creeping queens were cleaned up, and they had to be replaced. Ugh, I just realized if you look at the units tab, we only have 3 queens for RiSky. So it makes another wave. Thank God.
Yeah, he does have those extra queens on the way now. It does have his lurker upgrades on the way too. Nice little drop here from Azure is going to be able to put some pressure on this back base here. Maybe even take it down with the Marauders.
Oh yeah, RiSky completely out of position. Again, this is one of the larger maps. RiSky was at his gold. Now he finally gets into his own pocket base, but not before the hatchery falls.
Yeah, that's right. Nice start up there as well. Just trading a little bit of Lings, with a Ling, sorry, and it's just going to keep this drop over in the corner. Meanwhile, attacking the gold base at the same time. Looks like the Marauders are going to be able to take this one down as well.
Wow, 2-2 Marauders dishing out so much DPS. So it looks like, oh, one medevac is going to go down. But again, for a base, for a hatchery, that is well worth it here for Azure. He's buying so much time. Despite the massive supply disparity, Azure has been able to buy time to remake his army.
Yeah, we do see that medevac going down. We do unfortunately see one of the medevacs at the north base for RiSky being taken out as well. So just that one medevac coming back home from that one.
Oh yeah, exactly. This multi-pronged aggression is slowly being cleaned up, and RiSky isn't like resting on his laurels. He is working on adaptive talents. He will eventually work back into lurkers.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have a mine drop headed out towards the south as this attack from RiSky is heading out through the center, and he has done a really good job re-establishing this creep.
Oh, he really has. Meanwhile, juicy mine connection there on the majority of those things. There is that mine drop towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map as well. Looks like it has been spotted. The Queens are already able to dish out a little bit of DPS down to it, and RiSky is headed in this direction.
Yeah, try the spells are in position. Azure going to redrop some of this bio just to keep those Queens busy. He's going to lose the drop for that, but does get that mine drop safely over into the corner. But unfortunately, with these spores here, that is where it will stay.
Yeah, exactly. It won't really be able to find a way in RiSky even repositioning those spores to make sure they are able to get the DPS their shots off and take down that medevac. Ooh, and RiSky is still waiting for his opportunity again, just like the game on Data C. Despite taking up, he is content to stay on Lingbane Hydra, get into Vipers, and wait quite some time before he does take into those lurkers.
Yeah, that's right. He's just going to be staying on Lingbane Hydra, which does allow him to have control over the flow of the game, allows him to take the entire map and keep this creep spread going all the way into Azure's bases. Meanwhile, Azure is getting his extra orbitals, is getting his ghosts, and we do see once again the banks, pretty heavily in the favor of RiSky.
Oh yeah, very heavily indeed. Meanwhile, the mine drop did end up landing here. 5 drones did go down for the cost of that mine drop. Drone count still looking quite healthy here for RiSky, and I do think that a big difference of this map is that I do think Azure is going to have a bit of an easier time expanding and taking his half of the map. You know, he's already here on his 5 bases. We should be seeing a 6th momentarily, but I don't know if he can ever take a 7th here when it comes to that gold.
Yeah, and it is going to be important for him down the line to start to think about how he can deny the mining on that gold. Does have the option to start nuking that as well once he has a little bit of extra money.
Yeah, exactly. No nukes yet, no ghosts yet, but we'll see. I mean, sorry, we do have ghosts, but no nukes yet. We'll see when that does come to pass. For now, just Azure trading, dancing with this army in the middle of the map. Again, the creep spread for RiSky has been, for the most part, being kept in check.
Yeah, Azure has been able to at least slow down the creep spread. Meanwhile, he does have that sensor tower giving him vision of the base being taken in the bottom right-hand corner. But for now, the ghosts are going to take some pretty nice exchanges with these Hydras.
Yeah, very nice snipes coming out from Azure, and you know what? We've been talking a lot about the bank of RiSky, but Azure, he's slowly accruing a bank of his own.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit different from that last game. He has been able to get a lot of his mining up unhindered, and that means that he is able to establish the bank. He is in a much more solid position in this game than he was the last.
Oh god, he really is, but I'm a little bit concerned as he does get a couple of snipes. Yo, he takes down 2 of those Vipers.
Yeah, 2 of those Vipers going down immediately. Does manage to get back to the safety of his own base as well, so he won't be losing those ghosts and keeps a lot of the energy on them as well.
Really does. Meanwhile, the bottom right hand corner has been taken by RiSky. This is a crucial moment. Thankfully, Azure has eyes on this, and he will just dive on it immediately, making sure that the space doesn't get up and running for RiSky.
Yeah, he will be taking down this base. RiSky fortunately was wise to it, was able to evacuate that base quite quickly, has a lot of creep here as well, so it will be hard for Azure to really push this back.
Really will. Meanwhile, we do have a rotation here of the Lingbane Hydra. Azure is going to be able to clean up a decent amount of those creep tumors, but not enough. Looks like RiSky is going to be able to fight back for the time being, and now Azure has to decide how he wants to split up his army, how he wants to apply pressure to that gold, if at all.
Yeah, that's right, because we do see that RiSky bank once again from the last game rearing its head with 12k minerals, 4k gas in the bank. He can start to get a little bit more aggressive with his units here. There's no impetus to trade well anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He can invest and get that Omega list if he wants to. It is available to him. But we do see here towards the bottom right-hand corner, Azure is rotating around. He is maneuvering his army over and looking to take that safe.
Yeah, that's right. He does have this base finally landing, and on the way he will be able to establish a PF, get some of those turrets down but he is being spread pretty thin defensively. The sensor towers are pretty well placed, so we'll be able to get vision, but he needs to be very careful that it's not pulled out of position. I do like that he has all these mines as well, just to help him if he does get caught out of position at any point.
Yeah, any kind of Ling run by will be cleaned up by those mines, so Azure very well set up, especially compared to the previous game, relying on mines, less so on tanks. Do have a decent ghost count as well, as we do have a couple of planetaries or CCs moving over to be morphed into said planetaries.
Yeah, that's right. Do have those extra bases coming up. Do have a lot of these mines being set up as well. But here we go. RiSky is forming up for an attack with the Banes, with the Hydras.
Oh, exactly. But the choke point is real. The Widowmine shots are going to go off. The ghosts are kind of trapped here in the bottom right-hand corner. But is there enough Ling Bane?
Yeah, this is a pretty terrible fight for RiSky. All these Banes funneling straight into this concave. Ooh. He will be able to get this base. As I say that, he does have to turn back as the snipes are being laid down on these Hydras, even taking out a lot of these Overseers here.
Yeah, the Overseers go down, the Hydras go down, the Ling Bane did not trade well at all, and Azure kept his base alive. He only lost 3 SCVs.
Yeah, and he does have the potential now for a counterattack. Going to have to be a little bit careful not to be caught out. There are still a few Banes here on the map as one of those crash into the Ghost at the front. But he's going to be able to take some pretty nice trades with the Hydras here.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The Banes are having a hard time getting past all of those Hydras, and it looks like Azure is going to be able to take another fight. This base is now under threat. The gold is going to go down, but in comes the reinforcing Ling Bane.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension for Azure. Does need to pick up and get out of there. Manages to pick up all of the ghosts quite nicely. They're flying over a store, over the Hydras. That is a lot of his army value going down.
Yeah, exactly. Up until this moment, even in the previous games, Azure did so well at keeping his ghost cannon alive, but he lost so much there in that fight, in that engagement. He did take down that gold, he did take down the mining, but was that good enough?
Yeah, a little bit over-eager there by Azure. He can't really afford to be taking those kind of trades at this point in the game, as his mineral bank is quite low.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the supplies were close, the banks were not, and after taking a bad trade like that, after losing those ghosts, Azure is going to have a hard time rebuilding. Meanwhile, RiSky is supply blocked after losing all those Overseers, but after that, he will be able to remax.
Yeah, he will be able to run through these. PS really nicely placed here, are taking advantage of some of the features of this map, just to cut off those chokes. But RiSky, once he starts to morph in more Banelings, getting a lot more Lings here as well, he's going to be able to set up another attack.
Yeah, exactly. Needs a little bit more time to morph in those Banelings. Still just working with pure Ling Hydra for the time being, resaturating that gold base. Azure likewise is locating the bottom right-hand base up and running as well. But that Ling Bane army, it's coming, puppy. It's coming.
Yeah, he's coming in. These Banes are a weapon of attrition. They can wear out the bank of Azure, and this is something that he can just keep throwing into him over and over again and utilizing that bank to cause damage. And so he will be sending in these changelings just to scout out the situation. He will see that there are a lot of ghosts, but not too many mines.
Yeah, the mine count was, for the most part, almost reset here. You were talking about it earlier. Azure is spread a little bit too thin and maybe doesn't have enough mines. Meanwhile, here we go. RiSky coming in from 2 angles.
Yeah, big wraparound. The Lings going in first just to soak up those mine shots. The Overseers flying overhead will give a vision of these ghosts, and the ghosts are going down quite quickly. There's a lot of supply being traded out on both sides, but as we were referring to before, with the bank of RiSky, that is going to favor him.
Yeah, it is going to favor him. Meanwhile, Azure took a very efficient trade here defensively, able to come out on top in that engagement. This may force another counterattack, but can Azure take down the base? He actually wants to try and trade with the Hydras.
Yeah, Azure once again pushing pretty far onto creep after taking a good fight. I do hope that he will sit back and defend once again, and looks like he is going to be able to get back to mining on this bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, yes, mining is going to resume. Gases will be taken. We see a scan here. Azure trying to figure out how much mining there is left here at the gold base. We are starting to mine out everywhere else, by the way. At a certain point, RiSky is going to run out of money, but yeah, he still has that bank.
Still has a pretty serious bank. Has the potential to start morphing in lurkers once his ghost count gets a little bit lower as well. At the same time, this is one of the features of this map that does make it a little bit better for Terran. There's a lot less bases than on, say, Data C. So Azure does have the potential to draw this out a lot longer and starve RiSky out once he starts burning through this bank, but he's going to have to trade so efficiently to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, he has been doing so far, other than, of course, that moment where he did lose a bunch of ghosts, but outside of that, he has been trading incredibly well, so we'll see if he can keep that up. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right, as he is morphing in more Banelings. Meanwhile, we see 5 Ghost Academies going down for Azure. I'm not sure if he necessarily has the money to do this, but it does look like he does want to go into mass nukes.
Yeah, nukes. Interesting. I mean, he does have a 2k bank, to be fair, so maybe he feels comfortable enough to get into that, and maybe he feels like that may be one of the only ways to really pull RiSky apart and harass him on some of his fringe bases.
Yeah, for sure, especially if RiSky keeps taking poor fights on this same angle. But it does look like Azure is set up for this one. A lot of these Marines are going to be going down, the Ghost spreading out behind, but I think this is just too many Banelings here for RiSky as he goes through and takes out all of the Ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. The abducts were absolutely insane. GG gets called, and in one fell swoop, RiSky will take game number 4 and the series 3-1.
GG. RiSky is going to take that one down and qualifies for the main event over Azure.
Oh my god. GG, well played. After a very long series, doesn't go to the ace match. There were moments of brilliance there for Azure on Stargazers. Don't get us wrong, they definitely were. He was trading quite well. It was great to see him taking up into those ghosts, into those nukes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see that come to fruition. The Ling Bane, the onslaught of just wave after wave of Ling Bane eventually did break our Australian Terran.
Yeah, the bank was just a little too much. That gold base that he managed to establish a little bit too much, and RiSky gets it done.
He gets it done in the end, and we have confirmation RiSky now qualifies for DreamHack Oceania, or DreamHack Atlanta, the Oceania region. And if we can quickly refresh, we also have confirmation on the other qualifying match as well, right?
Yeah, it looks like Raza has taken that one down over Ender.
Wow, okay. I was not expecting that. Raza taking down Ender in the ace match. Oh boy. So 2 Terrans and 2 Zergs make it through.
Yeah, that's right. Balancing all things. Let's not worry about the Protoss.
Feels Protoss, man. Yeah, it's fine, Papi, it's fine, because we got plenty of Protoss players in the main event as we just switched the scenes over here. As a reminder, NXZ, Seether, Raza, and RiSky all move on through to that main event where 4 other players are waiting for them.
Where the Protosses await.
Oh, the champion race, Papi.
Probe, Ranger T-Ball, and Mio Micah are waiting there, so... That's going to be pretty interesting to see how these qualifying players can perform. Especially interested to see how some of the I don't want to say newer players, but some of the players that we don't normally see and haven't seen in the last couple of years, like NXZ.
Just say it. I just want to watch NXZ. True, Papi, true, because I 100% agree. NXZ has been away for a long time. He's putting in a lot of hours to practice and to prepare, and he has a couple of days to do so. Not too much time, but a couple of days nonetheless before the main event. And yeah, how will he perform against some of these other players, especially against the Protoss, because we didn't really get to see too much of his ZvP in the qualifiers.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll be able to see a little bit different of what he has in store. Just to give a little bit of a spoiler, he has been doing pretty well against Probe on ladder. I think he even 3-0'd him one night on ladder with some cheeky builds. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can recreate that when there's something really on the line.
Yeah, I may have been there for some of those games as well, and it's just NXZ is a dirty player in ZvP. I love it.
It is true.
Oh my, he's crazy. He goes for his own like 13-12 variant in ZvP as well. It's like, what? It's crazy. And it's like, yeah, you know.
It's so wrong, it's right.
It's so wrong, it's right. NXZ 2022. Oh god, but with that, thank you so much, not just everyone for tuning in, because we got a lot of people who did tune in for this final series, but thank you so much, Asher, because I know this went on a little bit longer than we anticipated, and I know that everyone is hungry.
Well, good. It's good to see some good games, even if I did have to see a bit of a zerging at the end of that. Really,
that just solidifies your biases, you know? You're like, yeah, you know, Terran, we're just trying to survive, and most of the time we can't even survive. It's
hopeless.
Meanwhile, yes, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves in the chat as well. That is it. That is the end of the Oceania qualifiers. The main event will be, I believe, in a week. Yes, they will be in a week, so all these players will have a little bit of time to prepare for themselves. And I believe that will be covered on ESL_SC2 or ESL_Australia, depending on where they decide to stream to. And that will be covered by the likes of Maynard, Pig, maybe even Zeph.
Yeah, we do have those getting casted over there, so it'll be very exciting to see that. We do have the big fancy production value as well.
yes, we got the fancy production value. We got the tickers as well. I believe Chase is going to be involved. He's going to be helping out with the social media again and making memes, which will be a lot of fun. Everyone, is going to be coming together here for the last big final event for our region, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Especially, it's always a great time watching and listening to Maynard cast, because I know it's not something that he does too often anymore, but he's always there for the oceanic scene, always.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to wake up Chase to get him on that one.
Oh boy. we will. So everyone, please look forward to that. And that isn't the only Oceanic StarCraft that we're going to be having, because, as I quickly check here, next weekend, the 24th of September, we are going to be having the ANZ Champs Season 2 Urban Qualifiers.
Yeah, we do have that coming up this weekend, I believe, or this coming weekend. So the StarCraft never stops.
It never stops. The question is, though, because I know that you weren't too keen to play in the qualifiers for Oceania, Asher, would you play in ANZ Champs?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
What are you?
I'm not excited about it.
Why not? Why not? What about Code A? What, you don't think you can take down Jadoff? Is that what you're scared of, Jadoff? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not scared of Jadoff.
Yeah. In real talk, compared to your previous performance in Season 1, I do think that you've gotten better. I do think that you've leveled up, and I want to believe you can make a deep run in Code A. I believe.
Maybe. It's possible. We'll see.
You're like, look, I don't
want to think about it.
I don't want to raise any expectations, okay? I don't want to smudge, Bobby. I've been there before.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Maybe I can get lucky with the bracket and dodge some Zergs.
Maybe you can dodge Chappie. Oh, God. And with that, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Asher, do you want to let the people know a little bit more about yourself? Are you going to stream after this?
I was actually thinking of streaming some Protoss after this, but I'm dead. I'm not going to stream after this. Maybe next week at some point. But you can catch me on Twitch TV /AsherBro if you want to catch that. And where can they find you, Light?
Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. Also, very quickly, if you want to follow Asher on his social media, just under his name, you can see his Twitter. His he's very active on Twitter. He tweets all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, it's a problem. But yeah, maybe if you give him some follows, maybe you'll make him tweet a little bit more, actually. So you can follow Asher there. You can follow me at Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I stream throughout the week. I haven't been streaming these past couple of days because we have been very busy with casting. Insanely busy. Too busy, even. We've been dying. I've been dying. We're dead. Yeah, a lot of StarCraft going on here. So if you're interested in our casting of StarCraft, follow us on the CranKy Ducklings Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. All the money that we make here on the channel and on Patreon goes towards our players and towards our tournaments as well, our pro roster, I should say. So thanks to everyone's support, we are able to maintain and support so many aspects of StarCraft as best as we can. Our next broadcast is going to be in 1 hour. Asher will not. Thankfully, I'm sure Asher is relieved to hear that he is not going to be a part of that. But in 45 minutes, we're going to be back with DreamHack China. I'm going to be casting alongside Yaku. I may delay it a little bit because I do need to get some food and have a break and stuff. And maybe we'll miss out on the first round or something. But regardless, we will be there because I know that there isn't any other English coverage for DreamHack China. So we will be there for the what we just saw, but for China. Basically, the closed qualifiers where 8 players come in and 4 players come out.
That's right. If a tree falls in the wood and light doesn't cast it, did it make any sound?
Did it play StarCraft?
Would it play Zerg?
That is a very deep question, my friend. And on that note, I bid everyone adieu. Again, I hope everyone had plenty of fun smoging together at late game ZvT and the oppression that Terran can sometimes be under. Support your fellow Terran, your local Terrans. You know, ask them if they're okay, because sometimes they're not.
Rarely.
Oh god. So thanks everyone for watching. Asher, do you have anything you want to add before we head off?
Just remember to hydrate your hydras, and you too can kill infinite ghosts.
That's not what happened. That's not what do you mean? Well,
Goodbye.
Shaping the narrative. He didn't even make any lunkers that game. He didn't even make any lunkers.
He didn't have to.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys in an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Soon TM tonight. This channel will be back with DreamHack China. Until then, good night. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.